I've tried to do this to where I can bring it up all at one time and cut it into a segment. And I'm going to put it in the same segment because there's some concerns and we've been doing a lot of talking. Yesterday, and this is our segment on Gilmer County Board of Education / Superintendent. And this was difficult. I want to share this just a minute, please. This is a difficult story. I've been working on this for a couple months, and this is a stack, and I'm not even beginning with everything I have on there. Because, you know, FetchYourNews.com, our philosophy here is we do the news, but we remember people live here the next day. And what do I mean by that? Is in the business in the last 4 years, we've seen several tragedies and several things that take place that I call the news cameras. And Ron Burgundy, you know, Ron Burgundy and the I-9 news team, they run up here and they get their cameras and they get their satellite dishes on their truck and they catch the sheriff or they catch the EMA director and they go after these stories, and then guess what they do? They go back home. Which I understand they have to do news. It doesn't upset me, but they go back home. They run, get the story. They don't care who's hurt. They don't care. When I say don't care, their concerns in their business is not who they're hurt or what they say or what they do. They come and get the story. It's not my place to say whether they're concerned or not, but they go back home. So FetchYourNews.com, our goal is we do the news, but we try to do it in a form that we realize people live here the next day. Small community, and how do you do this story with so many local names involved, so many local people that everybody knows involved, and not do it to upset everybody but get the news out? Yes, you heard that. That is a challenge because I don't have real bad guys and bad ladies, but there's a problem. There's a problem. And all I can do is report it. So I've been working for a couple months to try to discuss this in a way that would not upset everybody and get too personal. So I am going to leave some names out. And you need to understand, throughout the report, there'll be some names left out of the report that I just don't feel they do anything for the story. I want to talk about the money and the amount of money. Now, I'm going to talk about this first because it was brought up yesterday. Gilmer County Charter School System, the amount of money being spent. Now, the board should say no. That's my opinion. They shouldn't say, no, we're not going to do this. But if you read the emails, and this little disc here has, thumb drive has, I don't know, 6,000, 5,000 emails. If you read the emails, and I'm sorry to have to be so candid, Mr. Cruz does not take no very well. It's in the emails, and I'm saying that if you tell him no on something, he comes back. Now, maybe that's a positive. He comes back to make his case. But if the Board of Education, you will see in our report as we go on, if they don't want to go a certain direction or don't want to do a certain thing, and Mr. Jason Coons, the superintendent of schools, feels they should, he's pretty firm on making his case that they should. So that has been in the emails, that's been tough. Now, I have to do an open records request to find out, in fairness to everybody. I want to tell you something. You might get silly. You might say, you got to tell us this now. I don't like to say in fairness. And the reason I don't like to say in fairness because my wife told me 15 years ago, one time I said something wasn't fair, and she let me know fair was a place you take a pig to win a blue ribbon. And from that day on, I've always cautioned to discuss fairness because my wife let me know what that was 15 years ago. The reason I bring that up, I need to do an open records request for a couple years ago, some different salaries. This is all public. So if you're out there, this is public. I did not do anything. I've had people say, well, you did something illegal. You got information that is secret. This is public information. If you draw a salary from any county, state, or funds. If your salary derives from any tax dollar, I don't care who you are, you can legally go pull that salary at any time. This is online. Now, I'm not going to go into the names. That's where I don't want to get personal. But Julianne Thompson brought something up about Gwinnett County Schools. This got me to thinking yesterday. And she's making a case that, hey, maybe the local schools need to look at their spending before they yell about losing the penny. But a whole different thing, and I looked at, well, wait a minute, maybe that's a valid point. She brought up Gwinnett County Schools, and she said they had some people over there making $400,000, and you don't have people in Gilmer County making that. But I will tell you this, I made a mistake yesterday. I know you're shocked. I made a mistake yesterday because I hadn't pulled this totally. But this says, stay with me, are you ready? The central office. Now, this is going to be a long segment, not right now, but this is going to be a long series that you have to stay with, and we will write this series also. But what's this got to do with advanced ed? It's very, very important because it's got a lot to do, because the facts are not mine. You understand? They're not mine. They're out there. I didn't create this. The bottom line is the advanced ed is in. It's in. The report is in. The superintendent of schools had a review in December. Small county. This is a small place, all right? He had a review in December. Okay, I don't have the review. I hear it wasn't a bad review. I don't know all the details. We hear that he was not pleased, and we hear that the superintendent of schools wanted his contract extended in December. Okay, he wanted it extended when he got the review. The Board of Education chose not to extend his contract at that time. It was just a review. Now, for you out there, just so you can get the facts, Mr. Coon's contract is up June 30th, yeah. The last day of June, it's up, okay? So, it is February, but it is time for the Board of Education to start making decisions to renew the gentleman's contract or not renew it. And if they don't renew the gentleman's contract, okay, if they don't do that, then they have to start a search. And one of the complaints on advanced ed, and we're going to get into that, one of the complaints on advanced ed is the inconsistency in the superintendent of schools. Now, what has been brought to advanced ed's attention, but I did not see an explanation, but what's been brought to their attention, and I'm for sure somebody told them, is that there's been 4 superintendents of schools in 8 years. But what I don't see in the emails and the correspondence, and it's probably out there and I don't have it, but I don't see the details on the 4 superintendents. My understanding, the first 2 that they're discussing, my understanding is they retired. That's my understanding. Chief@fetchernews.com. During this report, at any time, whoever you are, if you're involved in a report, your name's brought up in the report, or you're out there and you have information, Chief@fetchernews.com, you will, at the end of our report, you will know that we thoroughly have gone through everything and just gave you the information for you to decide. You will see that when we're done. It's just clear information. Now, facts that I don't see in that is, my understanding is 2 superintendents of schools retired. They retired. That's my understanding. Yes, we know Brian Dorsey was terminated, and that's one of the discussions with advanced ed. And then Mr. Coons was brought in that night, and I've been told that the next morning he didn't even have keys to the main door. He was interim superintendent of schools. So that brings us up to that. Now, let me explain something to you. Somebody out there, I don't want Jason Coons you to say, well, he did this. He did not purchase the building. He did not. I got to lay the groundwork. I'm trying not to bore you, but I got to lay the groundwork. The night the Board of Education voted, and it's the previous Board of Education, not the current, the current 5 that was 4 and now 5 did not vote. Okay, only 1 on there did, and we'll leave it alone right now, but they did not vote to purchase the former Bank of LJ building, the the Administrative Technology Center. They did not vote to purchase that. Okay, the previous board did. Good or bad? Good or bad? Leave it there. Now, Jason Coons was not superintendent of schools. Brian Dorsey was. So just to let you know that. But what we do want you to know, after Julianne Thompson, and when she brought that up, got me thinking, we want you to know that when you go through the door, now this says, this is state. I got this off state. Okay? I won't put no names out. We don't care. Total central office payroll. Okay? Now, not including benefits. Just don't include the benefits, okay? Just don't include the over and above what is costing in health insurance. None of the benefits are in this, and this is a state thing that you can go pull. Gilmer County total central office payroll, not including benefits, is over $2 million a year. Now, I'm not going to give you the people's names. I have them all here. I'm not going to do it, okay? Some of these people deserve their jobs, and now I know you just think, well, you're saying some of them don't. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I've not reviewed these people. I don't know who should have these jobs, okay? I don't know. There's good people, a lot of good people on this paper. So let's totally be clear on that. That's why I'm not bringing no names. But $2 million. $2 million a year. Now, you citizens, when I tell you about purchasing the building, FetchYourNews.com was there that night. I was there. I was personally there. I sit there, had a camera. It took 10 minutes. They voted to buy the building. I came home at 10 o'clock that night, and I put a video up. I put 10 minutes, and all I said was, Gilmer County Board of Education voted to approve the purchase of the former Bank of LJ building, blah, blah. That was it. No opinion, just the facts. And I put the video for you to watch. And you watch the motion, second, and the purchase. To this day, 4 years, to this day, that's still the second most watched video in FetchYourNews.com's history in 4 years. And think about when that happened. That's still the second most watched video. So you out there were very concerned about that. You were very interested in that purchase. So I think you might be interested in $2 million. $2 million in the central office payroll, not including benefits. Now, there's something before we get to advanced ed, because there's a whole lot of things here, because these people got to make a decision. Okay? They got to make a decision. Now, this is an email from Mr. Coons, and this email is from Mr. Coons, and it's sent to the Board of Education. Okay? And it's sent on February 6th. This is on February 6th. Now, it's going to be important for me to let you know what February 6th is in a minute, in probably our next segment. This is to all. After notifying our board, I have been able to make a few changes that will not only, now this is a concern that I have, that not only not only add. After notifying our BOE, I have been able to make a few changes that not only add yet another layer of supervisory assistance. Another layer of supervisory assistance. But two, will provide an additional voice for our drive for the curriculum and instruction process. And he lists everybody that he has on the administrative staff here, and the new layer. Although I have only shared with directors and BOE members at this point, this is not to be considered a secret. At the February meeting, we will look to have approved and posted for the operations vacancy. Okay, so another layer. Now, I want to make sure I've read this email from Mr. Coons about another layer of supervisory assistance. Okay? Now, it's not for me to decide if we needed another layer. Not for me to decide. Not for me to decide. I don't know. Somebody tell me. We'll offer everybody to come on and talk to me why $2 million is over there in that building. Okay? Now, my ADD's kicking in, and I'm gonna transfer, and I'm gonna say something, and then I'm gonna back up and say, really, I could have done without saying that. $2 million in that building, and we can't pay a coach. You want to know why I keep saying we can't pay a coach for football? Quit. I'm going to tell you something, and I'm getting pretty daggone frustrated with football, and why we can't pay a coach, and why everybody thinks all I think about is football. Let me tell you something. Go to a game, a successful program like the Bobcats currently have. Go to a game. Go to a game and see the kids that come out on Friday night. Kids come out on Friday night for a football game in the student section. You know, they're good kids. They're not getting in trouble. We know where they're at. They're not out causing crime and so forth. Okay. You want a list? Look at the band. Look at that band. I mean, awesome. Halftime show. They get up there. They're playing. Look at all that. All right? You keep saying I say foot. Look at the band. Okay? Now I'm going to guess someone. Look at the cheerleaders. Look at Bobcat Nation. So when you say to me, Brian, everything's not football. No, it's not. Go to the basketball games. Go to the different events and look at Bobcat Nation. Look at these young people learning to run video and learning to stream shows and broadcast and edit. I mean, on and on and on. But I got sidetracked. $2 million. Okay, $2 million in there. We need to, Julianne, if you want to call somebody, I give you a number today, give you your email address. Call and say, why did you set him off? Why did you even bring this up? I didn't know. I did not know. I truly did not know what was over there in that building. $2 million inside the door. We got to look into it. Citizens, you got to look into it. You need to go over there and look into it. Now, AdvanEd on February 3rd. There's a reason that ties in, and we'll do that through the segment. It's 8:05. We don't want to stay a 2-hour show, but AdvanEd, February 3rd. Sent a letter, okay? Now, there's a couple things that I'm going to lay out here that I'm going to work on this weekend, but I want you to think about. AdvanEd sent a letter and said, a complaint. Okay, on February 3rd, 2014, Mr. Coons, Superintendent, Dear Mr. Coons, AdvanEd Sachs has received a complaint alleging. Now, a complaint. Now, I don't know if multiple people signed the complaint. In Gilmer County, we have walked around for a year wondering who made the complaint. I have been told that there were several complaints. I have been told that not just one person made the complaint, but I want to zero in on a complaint. Okay, so it's possible only one person sent the complaint. I don't know. At Gilmer County School District. Now, for those of you that don't know the complaint, let me read the general to it. Specifically, out there, if I pronounce that properly, that's a win for the day for me if I ever say specifically properly. Specifically, the allegations include violations of board policy by interfering with district's day-to-day operations, state open meeting laws regarding the dismissal of a former superintendent, and possibly a violation relating to a breach of confidentiality regarding an employee's health records. Okay, those were the three things in a complaint. Okay, specifically the allegations include day-to-day operations. They want to check the day-to-day, and somebody has been getting involved. State open meeting laws regarding the dismissal of a former superintendent. Now, I was there the night, and I don't know the law, but I was there the night that the Brian Dorsey was dismissed, and I seen the vote, and we'll get more into that. And I seen a motion to table it, and it was not second, and I understand when you don't second it, you don't vote on it. So anyhow, but that is the three things that the February 3rd, the letter was stated. Then Mr. Coons was asked, Gilmer County School District is required to respond to these complaints and allegations. Your response should be received in AdvanEd office no later than 30 days from the date of the letter. After review, now this is important because I want to tell you something. After the review of your response, we will determine what actions, if any, need. Okay? You understand? They will determine what actions. This is based on the response. And you want to say, well, why am I setting this up? You got to set this up. A complaint came in. There was 3 accusations. Okay, I don't know if you ever go over to the mailbox and get something and somebody said something or complained or whatever, because you know, there's 3 complaints. Okay, now what's important is, I mean, there's 3 accusations and a complaint. I got a text here. People are watching, sending me text. Gilmer County School District is required to respond. You're required to respond. Now, first of all, AdvanEd, who are they? Who are they? It comes in a letter. The sheriff doesn't serve it. Okay? It's not like they got served in 30 days. They have to appear in court. But they are the accreditation people, the accreditation facility that facilitates your accreditation, so on and so forth. I get a little tongue-tied. But this came regular mail. It doesn't get served on them. It's not like if they don't show up in 30 days, you know, a summary judgment, whatever, okay? Now, but they had to respond to the complaints and allegations. Your response should be received in AdvanEd office no later than 30 days from the date. This is important. After review of your response, I keep beating that home because the response, we're going to get into the response. After the review of your response, we will determine what actions, if any. See, there was a possibility there was no actions needed. Okay, if any, need to be taken, including the possibility that a special review team may be appointed to review Gilmer County District. Now, this letter has 3 accusations, innocent till proven guilty, and it says the review, your response will determine what actions, if any. So they're waiting for a letter back based on what you read. So here's the bottom line. They're saying somebody wrote a complaint and said that board members are getting involved in the day-to-day, and you shouldn't. It's not in that. So here's the bottom line. AdvanEd gets a complaint that says board members are getting involved in the day-to-day process. Well, you know what? They're not supposed to. According to the rules, they're not supposed to. So, okay, day-to-day, need to deal with that. Second, we hear you may have violated some open meeting rules of the former superintendent. If you want to talk about violating open meeting rules, how about talking about violating agendas that are not put up? How about forgetting to put things on the agenda but going ahead and voting on them recently, so on and so forth. So let's not look at how many violations. Those things happen. I don't want to say all the time, but they happen. So, okay. So the dismissal of your former superintendent may have been a violation of open meetings, and then possibly a violation breached on confidentiality of employee health records. So they need a letter back saying, hey, what happened on here? Tell us. Now, we're going to end after this because I got to wrap up some things. It is Friday. It is Friday, and I shouldn't get this worked up on Friday. I just get passionate about what I do. Now, here is Jason Coons, superintendent of school. He sends an email to Mr. Hartley. Okay? Now, Mr. Hartley, if you don't know who he is, Phil Hartley, Google him. All he does is Board of Education law. That's all he does. He actually came over. Phil Hartley came over and said, if you were there, he did the presentation on the open records request that Fetcher News made and the retaining of information and retaining of the emails, and he cleared it up very well. I was impressed that night by his answer, and I will tell you, Mr. Hartley basically came over and said Fetcher News was well within its right, plus any other citizen, to do an open records request, and you do need to look at retaining your emails and retaining information. Anyhow, so that's February 3rd, okay? Immediately, Mr. Coons turns around and he sends Mr. Hartley over in Gainesville, an attorney over in Gainesville, an email says, please find attached an official notice from the Department of Advanced Ed. I've already submitted to Mr. Herman Clark. Mr. Herman Clark, Clark & Clark is the Gilmer County Charter School System's attorney, the attorney for the school system here locally. But wanted to make you aware of the notice as well, so that collectively we are able to construct a well-versed. Now, this gets me because I don't understand what Mr. Coons is saying here. I really don't, because I just read you the alleged complaint. Okay, alleged complaint. So I want you to know at FetcherNews.com, I will always advocate to tell the truth. Absolutely, tell the truth. Just tell the truth. Advocate it. All right. So I'm not understanding, and I respect Mr. Coons. Mr. Coons has. I've heard great things about being the principal at Clear Creek Middle School, and if you read the emails, when you get into things that Mr. Coons discusses concerning the education side of the kids and your students, you know, that's not bad. Okay, so I just want to say in all fairness, and I told you earlier what fairness was, but he tells Mr. Hartley, but wanted to make you aware of the notice so that collectively we are able to construct a well-versed, okay, yet completely honest response to the allegations. Now, Mr. Coons lets Mr. Hartley know that he wants a completely honest response to the allegations. I don't understand why that's in there. I mean, is he saying we're going to tell everything, like there's something to tell? I don't know. Okay, but here's something, and we're going to end on this. You're going to have to come back for our next segment, okay? But we're going to end on this, and I'll give you some teasers for next week. Here is the letter of the 3 alleged questions. Basically, they're questions that we need to answer in 30 days. Okay, and I'm not going to say that they're not serious. I'm going to take them serious, okay? But my issue here is, if anything needs to be done. Now, you out there know what has happened in the last year and the tension that this has caused with the board, superintendent, students, parents, teachers, okay? But this is the letter. Now, if you get a letter like this, you may be shocked. You may go to the mailbox and get a letter and say, wow, I didn't know this was coming in the mail. Here's an interesting thing we're going to leave with, not implying anything, but it's this is Mr. Hartley's response, okay? And Mr. Hartley, Phil Hartley over in Gainesville, the attorney's response. He knows Board of Education. He has dealt with this many a times. He knows what to do, okay? Mr. Hartley, I'm going to tell you, Mr. Hartley, I got a gut feeling, he knows how to handle this and make sure it goes smoothly for Gilmer County. So this is his response. Jason, I know that we discussed this possibility not too long ago, but now that you have the notice, Okay, and I'll tell you what concerns me there. The letter came in February 3rd, and on February 6th, okay, it's dated February 3rd, but I think he got it February 5th. I'm sorry. I want to tell you Mr. Coons got it February 3rd. On February 6th, Jason, I know that we discussed the possibility not too long ago. Okay, now, did Mr. Coons know this letter was coming? Was Mr. Coons already well aware from the person that was going to make the complaint, or people, several complaints, okay? Was he already aware of the complaint? Did he see the complaint? These are question marks. Did he see the complaint that went to Sachs? Why was Mr. Coons already counseling? Why was he already counseling with an attorney on a letter he has yet to receive? Now, these are emails I have. I don't know if I have all the emails. So if there's something I don't have, hey, get it over here to me and tell me I'm missing something. But why is Phil Hartley counseling? Why is he counseling Mr. Coons on a situation or a situation on something he doesn't even have? I know we discussed, now this is very important, we're going to leave with this because the response. I know that we discussed this possibility not too long ago, but now that we have the notice, we need to discuss how to coordinate a response and the consequences of the response. I will be glad to help you in any way you want us to, but we need to strategize. Listen to this very close. He's telling Mr. Coons, we need to strategize. What is best? What is the best response for the school district given the potential consequences of Sachs' actions? Okay? All right? We got to be careful here, he's saying. All right? Let me know if we need to talk or if you want to schedule a time. All right? Now, the response that we've talked about, it's very, very important. All right, very, very important. And I want to look at one more thing. We'll go into that. The response. We'll go into that next week because I think I've lost track. I know you're not caught off guard, but I think I've lost a little track of where I'm at. I got sideways here. But I think I lost a little track of where I'm at. That's not unusual for me. But the thing that concerns me is the response. And we're going to look at that come Monday. All right? We're going to look at that come Monday, the response that was made on February. And I think I have that here. I'm going to look real quick because it's February 19th, the response. If I can't put my fingers on it very quick, this is something I want to leave you with today, and I hope you stay with me fumbling through this. Now, the response. Again, this is Phil Hartley in Gainesville, and this is dated February 21st, 2014. Jason, I was in the middle of drafting an email to you when I got this request. I could talk with you and Herman Tuesday morning. I have reviewed your draft response. Okay, now I need to know if this response is what went to Advanced Ed. I need to know that. You need to know that as citizens we're going to find out if this response is what went. But here is Mr. Hartley's advice. We pay Mr. Hartley a lot of money to give this advice from over in Gainesville. I have reviewed your draft response as well as an initial letter from Advanced Ed. I assume that there was no attachment or enclosure of the letter. Do you know the details of any specific complaint that Advanced Ed may have received? Okay. He wants to know, and I like this answer, and I don't have that. Okay. I'm telling you right now, I don't have the answer on whether he is aware. Mr. Hartley's asking Mr. Coons, do you know the details of any specific complaint that Advanced Ed may have received? So he wants to know if Mr. Coons knows the details. This is what's important we're going to leave you with today. As you know, the Advanced Ed process involves the school districts responding, and under the Advanced Ed procedures, the school district representative is the superintendent of schools. So for some of you out there, and this might be boring to you, but it is the superintendent of schools is the designated representative to Advanced Ed. However, as you know, one of the effects of an adverse finding, one of the effects of an adverse finding by Advanced Ed could be a hearing before the SBOE and the removal of all the board members. Now, this came on February 21st. He's being told that if you better be careful here, and the removal of all the board members. Thus, the response to this letter is a very delicate situation for all of us. I was going to try to explain what some of the considerations are and options might be, but perhaps it would be better to save it for a conference call. I assume that the board is aware of this request from Advanced Ed, and I'm curious to their reaction has been. But remember, Mr. Hartley's telling Mr. Coons that, hey, thus the response to this letter is very delicate situation for all of us, and what could happen. So that all happens in a matter of a couple days in February. Now, I have a letter dated February 19th that says from Mr. Coons to Advanced Ed, and it says, as the new superintendent of Gilmer County Schools, please note that my response, some of the details may be both first and second hand information. So I need to know if this letter is the response. You've heard how delicate the response needs to be. You've heard that it's just 3 accusations, and we're going to take those serious. We're going to take those serious, and we're not going to say there didn't need to be corrections. But we're going to look at this whole thing because you have asked me about Advanced Ed, you've asked me what I've seen in the emails, and so forth. Hey, $2 million. Name it this weekend. $2 million a year, not counting benefits, at the central office for Gilmer.